Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Against the Public for June 25th. I'm Dana Lane. Today, we're going to go through my top 3 Major League Baseball free plays for Tuesday, and then we'll wrap it up with our betting tip of the day. We'll simply just focus on favorites and underdogs in a few different situations. How well have they done in 2024? How well have they done over the last 3 years? Which teams are the best in 2024? And which teams have been best over long periods of time? After the show, please go to Pickdawgz.com where I'll have my premium Major League Baseball 3-pack locked and loaded. You can jump on my single plays or my 3-pack for just $49.99. And of course, like every single day, every 3-pack, every individual play comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee that states you must profit or receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price. Also, I'll have that side and total in tomorrow's lone WNBA game between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. That's a Commissioner's Cup final. Every 3-pack comes with the win guarantee. We already talked about that. Every single play comes with the win guarantee. No other website does that. Make sure you get involved. And of course, there's only one way to become an all-access or to get every play that I release, and that's to simply become an all-access member. And you can do that for the next 30 days for less than $11 a day, the next 90 days for less than $10 a day, or better yet, guys, just jump on an annual all-access pass for the next year. You get every play that I've released from now until this time next year. That takes you all the way through the NFL season, the college football season, college basketball, NHL, NBA. Congratulations, Florida Panthers, for winning the 2024 Stanley Cup. So let's roll our sleeves up. Let's get to work. Here's your free plays for Tuesday. Remember, these pitchers are probable, so double check them before you make your wagers tomorrow. 6:35 Eastern Time is your first game. 9:59, 9:60 is your rotation number. Cleveland Guardians against the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles minus $1.41. 9 over minus 20. Logan Allen versus Cole Irvin. So far, we see the Orioles attracting the majority of the action. 97% of the money is on Baltimore, with 85% of the tickets. The under is also receiving a definitive amount of action, with 93% of the money on the under. Betting has forced the consensus number to go from $1.34 to $1.41. Now, there is still some really good numbers out there. There's here in town, there's a $1.30. We see $1.32 at some properties. So definitely make sure to shop around if you have that option. We saw game 1 of this series produce another under. That makes 3 straight unders in head-to-head meetings and 4 of 5. And that also dates back to last September, but that is some information you can, it not necessarily back to September like pertains to what happens today, but it sounds good. We'll just say 4 or 5 to the under, but that does make 7 of the last 10 meetings also cashing under tickets as well. So when we cross over seasons, you want to make sure, okay, does this really pertain? But what does pertain is the unders that we've seen so far this year. My main concern is Logan Allen. Of course, we know he's a kid that's enjoyed a ton of run support, almost 6 runs a game, which has allowed Allen to be 8-3 with a 5.23 ERA. But when we dig into his recent form, we see that Allen's been pretty good. 3.17 ERA over his last 3 starts. That has produced 2 unders in his last 3 starts, which is great because that run support we just got through talking about has been slashed in half over those last 3 games. And of course, you're not going to continue a run over the course of the season where you're getting 6 runs a game. But that's just something we're starting to see that turning point there. Not as much run support for Allen, and I expect Irvin to bounce back after probably his worst start of the season against the Yankees. Had a bad one early in the season, but this last one statistically a little bit worse. I think he's going to bounce back, so we're going to go under 9 even money. Game number 2, 6:40 Eastern Time, 9:67, 9:68. Philadelphia Phillies on the road against the Detroit Tigers. Phillies minus $1.25. 7.5 over minus 12. Ranger Suarez against Tarek Skubal. The public's all over the Phillies here. 98% of the early tickets monitored are backing Suarez and the Phils. 93% are on the under. So far, it's some smaller, mostly smaller monies, but we do see some bigger wagers. We saw one at Caesars in New Jersey, and that one is going to go. That one went the way of the Philadelphia Phillies. We saw a steam move on the over 7.5 minus $1.05 at FanDuel, Iowa. So there is some larger wagers out there already, but most of this has been based on smaller money. Speaking of the total, we will have to deal with some wind at game time. You guys love these wind reports. 12 miles an hour blowing from right to left, and it looks like it's going to be something we're going to have to deal with for most of the game. We can expect between 10 and 12 miles an hour for an average wind gust in this game. So that's, if you're betting the total, that's something to take into account. And of course, we know how good Tarek Skubal is, but almost always I'm on Suarez, who's 10-1 this season, a 1.75 ERA. The lefties allowed just 4 earned runs in his last 20 and a third innings. That's a 1.75 ERA. The Phillies are 13-2 when Suarez gets a start, given and also giving him 6.30 runs runs of support per game, and that's. You got a guy in the mound that's got a 1.75 ERA over his last few starts, and you're giving him almost 6.5 runs a game. This is always a no-brainer for me. I'm taking Philadelphia minus $1.21. And then game number 3, 9:38 Eastern time, 9:65, 9:66. Oakland Athletics against the Los Angeles Angels. Angels minus $1.30, 8.5 under minus 15. Mitch Spence against Tyler Anderson. 73% of the money is on the Angels so far. A lot more wagers than we saw this time yesterday. A little bit more interest in this series heading into game 2. The over sees 91% of the money on the over, or the total sees 91% of the money on the over. Spence's numbers, 4-3, 3.86, pretty good for the Athletics pitching staff, but of late he's been kind of trending in the wrong direction. Not horribly, but we can see where maybe we want to kind of go off of him, or maybe expect to go over the total, because 12 earned runs in his last 24 and 2/3 innings. That's a 4.38 ERA. Still not too bad, but when we're on a total, that is significant. What would worry me if I was on the under in this game is 29 hits allowed in 24 and 2/3 innings. That is a lot of hits in that span, and if that's going to be the case in this one, you better be a big strikeout pitcher. Or if you're going to be a pitcher like that, you better be a big strikeout pitcher, and we know that Mitch Spence simply is not. We are going to have to rely on the Angels offense here. I think they're going to have to get the majority of this number, because Tyler Anderson, even though he's 6-7, 2.48 ERA, and that ERA is for real. We know what those numbers do mean as well. A lack of run support, because a 2.48 ERA would certainly put him at least at 10 wins on an average club. So 3.95 runs per game supports that theory of a lack of run support by the Angels. We just need a few from the Athletics here. We're going to push this game over 8.5 minus $1.05. And before we close the game, before we close the show out today, here's your handicapping tip for Tuesday, and we're going to go, just keep it simple. We're going to talk about favorites and underdogs, and just to give you some numbers, so far favorites in 2024, 685 and 492, a 559 win percentage. If you bet every favorite on the board this year, you'd be minus 18.5 units based upon a 1-unit wager. Now, over the last 3 years, favorites are pretty good. They're 3,553 wins, 2,476 losses, 589 win percentage. So when you dissect those numbers, you can say, okay, well, the favorites this year have not been not what they've been over the last 3 years, but I think we can anticipate, and obviously as the season goes on, the favorites win at a higher percentage because teams just simply fall off, especially after that trade deadline. Underdogs, minus 45.76 units, so that's not a, I hear people say, well, I'm going to play underdogs all the time. Well, congratulations, you're down almost 46 units. Home favorites this season, 447 and 312, 589 win percentage. Real good win percentage there. Still not good enough to just make a blanket wager. 13.86 units lost. Over the last 3 years, home favorites have won 59.4%. So still maybe anticipating that number increasing as we move on through the season. Road favorites this year, 234, 177, 569 win percentage, minus 13.86 on the same number. The last 3 years, road favorites are 1,322 wins, 952 losses, a 582 or 581 win percentage. This season, favorites. Who are the best teams? Well, we'll start it off with the Cleveland Guardians, 35-14 as a favorite, plus 12.39 units. Philadelphia Phillies 46-20 plus 7.70 units, and the New York Yankees number 3 at 41-21, 7.04 units. Who are the worst? The usual suspects. Houston Astros 29-32 just because they've been overpriced, minus 12.88 units. Miami 3-12 minus 8.85 units, and Detroit 16-19 minus 7.79 units. And just for fun, guys, over the last 5 years, here are the best teams as a favorite over the last 5 years. We'll start it off at the 3 spot. We won't start at 1 on this one. Number 3, Cleveland, 202, 127 plus 10.99 units. Number 2, Tampa Bay Rays, 264 and 153 plus 14.10 units. And number 1 over the last 5 years, the Los Angeles Dodgers, 393 and 194 plus 19.35 units. That's pretty impressive considering how many minus $2 nights we've seen the Dodgers be part of. The lower half of that, well, the most, speaking of one of the Dodgers' wannabe nemesis, San Diego Padres have been the worst over the last 5 years, 258, 194. Still a healthy win percentage, but minus 32.82 units just because they're overpriced. Number 2, Texas 131, 122. 32.10 units lost, and number 3, the Angels on that list, 139 and 123, minus 29.15 units. So that's kind of interesting over the last 5 years. If there's anything you'd like me to research, please just drop me a comment on the YouTube channel. I'll be more than happy to get to it. Thank you so much for all the great comments so far. Remember, guys, we get to 200 likes. Just hit that like button, just hit it. There's 2,500 of you to watch this video every day. Just hit the like button. We get to 200 likes, I'll give you 2 handicapping tips a day. Simple as that. That does it for your Tuesday free play and tips. Go to pickdawgz.com. Get involved with one of my many available packages, including my all-access pass that gives you every game I release for one low price. Here's your Tuesday free play recap. Cleveland, Baltimore under 9 even money. Philadelphia minus $1.21, and Oakland, Los Angeles Angels over 8.5 minus $1.05. That does it for today's show. Thank you to everybody who continues to watch on a daily basis. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for the subscriptions yesterday. I appreciate each and every one of you. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers on Tuesday.